And all the characters, what I call rigged. So as far as for last week to set it up. So what I'm going to do is turn on my free transform tool, and that's the quick key of Q. If you hover over that, you can see that Q is your quick key for that one. So I click that, and I'm looking to see where my rotation joint point is for all these different layers. So you can see for this lower arm, it's at the elbow. For the hand, it's not at the wrist, so I need to take this one and move it to the wrist. So when it rotates at the wrist there. Look at upper arm is at the shoulder. The head is going to rotate at the neck. So I'm just double checking. This is what you should be doing in this week's assignment, is when you're rigging your character, you're getting all these rotation points set. This is the torso or the upper body here, and that's rotating here. And the different arms, that's rotating at the shoulder, at the elbow here. That one is set at the wrist. And then we have our legs. This is at the hip. This is the character's right leg at the hip. So kind of scroll down and see. Yep. Left leg, actually, so that's the foreground. That's the front leg. That's the character's left leg, right? That's the left arm. The left leg is forward. Yep. So run through and make sure it's rigged. Knees, ankles, hips for the upper leg. Now this character and your character doesn't need that, but this character does have this hip area. So let's see where that is, hips. And that's at the lower part of the hip, so that's where that would rotate from. If I do need to rotate that to kind of get a little more in there. And layer order does matter where things are layered. So the left arm is going to be in front of everything. We have the head's on top of everything. Then we have the left arm stuff in front. Then we have the torso's on top of the hips, on top of the legs. The left leg is up here, so that's in the foreground. The right arm is behind the body. It's behind the legs. I mean, yep, all the legs. Yep, it's behind there. And then we have, actually, as I'm looking at this, I should have the legs upper right above the arms. So if I take leg right upper and bring that up, leg right lower, up, bring that up, and shoe. The arm is not going to go past the shoe, but it would. This arm could go behind that leg. So I'll make sure that this arm is what I just did, the right arm. That's that one, and more so the hand and there, but I'm keeping them together, that they will be behind all these other body parts. So your layer order will matter as you start setting up your character and getting ready to animate. See, guys, normally we'd have a break. I'm going to break up these videos for us. Do you guys want to take a break? Anybody in there? Have you been taking breaks? It's different. This is different. So I don't, if you are paying attention to staying along, I see some have dropped off, and that's fine because I am recording this. I'm going to put these up so you can see them. But I'll keep going because I got the time here. I got this scheduled to do this. All right. Okay, so I have that pose. So now I'm going to scroll my timeline here, and I'm going to go to that pose. So that's the opposite stride. Remember, we said we want to get those to match as close as possible. So we have here and there. And that's drawing number 6 here. So what I want to do here is set a keyframe here. So I'm going to set the keyframe here on here. So again, click and drag down is what I'm going to do. So starting at the head, I'm going to click, not let go of my mouse, drag down all the way down to the arm right lower. So I select all that. And then I'm going to right click, and this time I'm going to insert a keyframe. I'm going to insert a keyframe. Well, insert keyframe. So what that did is made the exact, all these keyframes, that same pose. So it's the same pose. Now that I've done that, now I have to swap things out. The head can stay the exact same. I don't need to change the head because I want it to be at the same height and the same position as the, let's say we'll call this one this is going to be our left leg stride, and this one's going to be our right leg stride. So I want to keep the head the same, but then I have to swap these legs out and I have to swap these arms out. So right now, and this is still from the left leg, so this is the same as drawing one. I haven't changed anything yet. This left leg is forward, left arm is back, right arm is forward, right leg is back. So I want to swap that around. Keep the body height the same. So what I can do here is start doing that. When you're doing this, you're gonna be wanting using your free transform tool. That's what you could use to rotate these different body elements and move them. So what I'll do, I could turn on my onion skin. Nope, that's not it. Let's see, get a little more space up in here. Yeah, there's my onion skin. I got a little hesitant because they changed the layout in the newer version, so the icons look a little different. But it is it. I hover over it. It says onion skin. Let's see if I move it. We have the video there or not. Onion skin selected. So with that, I could see my first pose is underneath there. That is showing up here. This is where I am. So if I start to move this, I will still have that first one as a reference. So I'll start with the legs. So this leg, I make sure I select the leg I want. And that one, I want to kind of line up back there with that leg. So my rotation point is set. I'm going to bring that back here. And then I can also move it back a little. So I'm going to move that back to about there. And this is, just starting out and figuring this is how we're going to do it. Now I did this upper left leg. So I'll look for the left leg upper right, which would be this one. And now maybe so I don't grab the wrong one as I'm doing this, we want to remember, and we've talked about this before, but if I follow my lock icon down to this layer and I hold my Alt or Option key, when I click on that lock icon of that layer, what it's going to do is going to lock all the other layers except the leg I want to move right now. So that's my right leg. It's hidden behind that other leg. So if I bring that forward, there it is. And how come I'm not seeing that in there? Look at something here. I'll open this up more. Turn off that bottom one. Still got my onion skin turned on. I'm just wondering what I'm not seeing. Those elements. I should be seeing them, but I guess I'm not. So now we're doing a little bit of guessing. But I have that leg still there, so I can kind of use that. This leg should be behind. You see it's behind the hips, behind the shirt. The other leg's in front of it. So it's going to be about there. So I'm getting my strides set. So I reversed the two upper legs. Now I have to reverse the lower legs. This is definitely different, but it should be, right? Okay. So let's grab, everything else is locked. So I got to remember I can unlock everything. I guess when I locked it, it turned everything off. That's what it did. So if I come back and find that leg again, I can move it with my arrows. So you can always use your arrows to fine tune stuff also. So I'm going to go leg upper right, which was this one is what we were working. If I use my arrow keys, I can kind of fine tune some movement on it. Position movement, it won't do rotation, but it will do position movement with your arrow keys. Okay. So I've done the upper leg. So let's look at our lower legs. So let's go lower leg right, which is this one. And I want to line it up with that front leg. Again, I could do that lock thing on and off of the lock. You might be doing that as you get going. So you do it more often, you get used to it. Boom, locks everything but that. So I'm not accidentally moving something else. If you do accidentally move something else, you know, you have Control Z. You do it. So it's kind of hard to grab that. I could zoom up a little here with holding my control or command and use my mouse roll. Zoom up a little. But it's still kind of hard to grab. So in this case, I can use my arrow keys. Move that over. And I want to get more of an angle here, kind of matching that first one. Bring it over here, and I'm going to try to line it up there. I have that one. So now I'll lock that leg, and I'm going to look to get this leg and bring it back. So that's going to be my left leg lower. This leg here, I'm going to rotate it, bring it back here. It's going to be about there somewhere. And I'm just I guess rough placing them now. And when I get them all in position, then I can fine tune how it all looks and try to get it, what I'm trying to do. And it's a little bit different than drawing because you don't have the same flexibility you have. I could draw this line here. I can erase it and draw it here. We are working with pre-built pieces, you know, the puppet pieces. We are working with them. So we have to get them to work as well as we can. Matching as well as we can. But when we did look at those templates, we saw that they weren't perfect, but the walk as a whole worked nicely. Okay. So I have those two legs, then I have to do the feet. So if I select it now, everything's locked. So I'll lock that, and that's going to be my right foot. Then I'm going to bring back, right? Let's see, right shoe here. Nope, that was my left shoe. Yeah, come on. All right, I'll lock that one. Left shoe, unlock that. So I want to bring that one back so I can try to grab it. Just want to make sure I get those crosshairs. They get the arrows there that have those north, south, east, west arrows. Drag that back here. Then I could get my rotation icon there and rotate it. And then I'll use my arrow key to move it up there a little bit. So I'll lock that one because I want to grab the foot that's behind there, which is the right foot. Right shoe. Select it. Bring that one forward. And I'm just going to use my shift and left arrow key. Kind of moves it forward fast. Get it out from underneath there. And that's going to be tilted up as it goes here. So I have those, all the legs are kind of set. Now I have to do my arms. And turn off the locks. And so I could want to bring this one down. You know, I could fine tune it a little bit and see where I want to do these things. So I have the locks locked. Click away. Now I could, I'm on this layer, so I could select all of these elements. Make sure I just get those. So I have all those together. Maybe I'll bring that down as a group. That leg, talked about those planes. So this heel's a little bit behind that. This is the back leg. So that plane, turn on Preston Blair a second. We have those two legs. So it might not be exact because he's not as big as Preston Blair, but I'm really, when the left leg's forward, it's a little bit lower, and the right leg's forward, it's a little bit back. So they're not on that same line like that. They're a little bit spread apart if we looked at them from the front. I'm going to turn off the Preston Blair as I'm setting this up for this keyframe, so you can see what I'm doing. It takes a little time to do it, but you know the end result's cool. Once we get the walk cycle working good, then you know we have time, we get that to work, and then we're going to build the backgrounds and create it walking in the environments. All right, let me turn off Preston Blair. Now I got to swap these guys out. So this is going to be this arm. It'll be kind of, I'm trying to match the back arms thing. It's not going to go quite as front forward. Now, this character, the body, because we're dealing with a puppet again, I can't twist my body as it would normally. So my body's good. So I'm not going to bring this arm quite as far forward. I don't want it to look too strange. I'll bring it about there. Take this, bring this here, rotate it up, kind of match that plane there in my hand. Bring that there, rotate it up, position that there. So maybe I'll lock those layers. So that's the hand, left. Yeah, if I lock them, yeah, so it turns them off there. So I'm gonna see if I can do it without locking them, because it does turn them off. You can see that I want to keep this reference there. So let's go down and find that upper arm. It's way below all the other body elements. So upper arm right. So what I could do is try to grab that here. So I selected it on the time frame first, on the timeline. And now I'll use my arrow keys instead of grabbing something that I don't want to grab. So I moved it back this way. I'm using my arrow keys to move it up. If you hold your shift key, it moves in bigger increments, as opposed to not holding the shift key. It goes 1 pixel at a time. Your shift key, it goes 10 pixels at a time. Okay, so I rotate it, kind of match that angle. And then I'll bring it in here. Now this, maybe that one won't go quite as far back either. So I'll put it there, but it's kind of matching there. Now I have to grab that forearm. So it's going to be the arm right lower. And I'll do my rotation on this. And this I can grab, bring it up here. Let me bring it, I'll rotate it away from the body part first, and then bring it back. And maybe bring that, kind of matching, looking to see they're kind of matching, not exact. The body parts are different, like we talk about the torso not being able to twist, but it is really close, right? Those are close. So I would grab this hand. Sorry, I'm grabbing that hand. And yes, that finger there. Now, there's something else going on here. I have multiple hands, so the hands are changing to different hands. So if I go through this, look at watch those hands a second. See how they're popping to different hands. We'll look to set those. And that's going to be something else we can look at doing, how we can swap out and determine which body part. And also, is the mouth moving? Yeah, the mouth is kind of moving a little bit in there. So we'll look at those, because we have inside this head, what you needed to do also was the nested eyes and mouths. And those are going on. There's lots of different layers to it. So first thing I'm going to do is see if I can get the walk cycle to work. I'll look to set those hands to make sure that the same hand stays consistent through the walk cycle, and show you how to do that. All right, so I have the two arms moving. I think that's everything, right? The body's not going to change in this shot. Now maybe I can move this up a little bit forward. So let's see. I'm going to try to grab that arm first. Yeah, that arm. Then I'm going to hold my shift key to select that arm and select that hand. So now I have all these elements selected. And I'll take my arrow and just cheat it a little bit more. See what that does. And then the back foot here, let's see. It is supposed to be, oh, and you gotta be careful. What that did is skewed it. And you may do that sometimes, but I don't want to do that. So if you do accidentally move something, Command Z, Control Z. And fine tuning that, again, you can use your arrow key. So if I turn off my, I mean, we can't really see a whole lot of change because everything looks very similar. We have the different face and different hands going. I'll set those hands right now. So go to properties. And that hand's floating a little bit. Let's put it back on the body. That's what I said about fine tuning. When you turn things off, you can see. So with this hand, let's see which one I started with. I started with this one. And so I'll select that hand. And I'm going to come down to what we call looping down here. And we looked at this a little bit when we did a lip sync. but on the looping, I want to place single frame. Oh, okay. They've changed it. I was looking for a drop down and when it used to be in the old version. So this is looping. That is play graphic one. So if we went through, it would play one time and then stop. The looping means it would just keep repeating itself as it plays. And then this one is play single frame for the graphic. So we just want to decide which frame we want it to play. So if I click that one, before I click that one, I'm going to show you what it's doing. See that hand, it's going through and changing to the different hands. But I want just this hand for my walk cycle. That's looping option has gone away because our properties window is contextual. So it's gone away. So I need to click on the hand. Looping option is back. And I'm going to click one. And now as I go through those hands, it's keeping that hand consistent. It's changed. This is the other hand. That's why it's changing there. So there's this keyframe and this keyframe. So there's only two keyframes in there. But so now this backhand, I'll do the same with that. Select that hand and choose one here. So as I go through, it's just the two hands that are there right now. And I made this backhands a little bit darker. Did that on purpose this morning. I was kind of playing around just so when it walks, it feels like that one's behind us a little. You know, that might be a little too extreme. Probably could spend a little more time making it a little less obvious, but that's what I was doing there. There, so let's see here. Just like that, maybe rotate that a little more that way. So we have that. And then our next drawing, you know, it might want to do here. And I have my rulers visible here. And with that, I could put guides. So if you're not seeing your rulers when you're working, you can go view rulers, make sure that's checked on. And then I will click away from there. Now that the rulers are on, I could, let's do my onion skin again. Oh, I need to come here to see both of them. It's following this range, but this keyframe goes all the way to here, and then this, so I'm seeing these two frames, the main ones I want to see it. So my rulers, I want to guide. So I want to bring down a horizontal guide to show my ground plane for this character. I have it in the Preston Blair one, but this character, now that I'm doing it, I'm going to drag this down, and there's the front leg. It's there. And I'll take another one and drag it down, and it's lining up with the heel of that back leg. So when these legs slide back, I'm going to try to stay on that ground plane. So as I see this foot here, I might want to move it up a little bit so it's a little bit off of that. Yeah, it is going to be a little tricky dealing with the cutout, but we'll get it working. It'll look cool. And again, I have us doing this because we build this character, we get these cutout animations to work. They're a little more simplified, but more affordable, and you can do more animations for people if you get them to look cool, and we will. So we have that. I have my ground plane. Now I don't want to move those accidentally. You can go into view, guides, and lock guides. So that way I don't accidentally grab them and move them. So I have them set. So the other thing trying to figure out is getting those to move in even increments. So I want to kind of figure out from here to there as they slide back what it's going to be. So how many drawings is this one? It's going to be 1, 2, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 is back there. So those 5 drawings. So I could follow from the toe. Might be good, the heel or toe, because the toe is going to be here. So that's one way to follow it. And it is a little different because in the past I'd be using pencils and marking these with a pencil. So now how do I do it? And here I could try to grab, and these guides won't show through when we're exporting. They're just here to help us. So if that's the front toe, the guides are locked, so I can't move that again. So let's go unlock the guides. This will happen. Guides, unlock them till I match them. So if I take that now, I have this, I can match that one. And I'll grab this one and match here. So now I have to have, that's one, I have to have 5 in between there, right? So I have 1, 2. So this is in between these two. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4, and then that's to there. So I need 4 even movements in here. So if I take this, and I'm just going to eyeball these for right now, and then I'll look at them as I get them in. 3. And it looks like I might go a little more this way. And 4. So as I look at this, I mean, mathematically, you probably could do it, but it might take me a little more time than just doing it this way. So I'm just going to try to get it as close as I can here. So what I'm looking is to have this, and this is going to measure the heel as it goes back. So I'm trying to get it so it slides at even increments. So my next drawing, so if this is drawing here, my next drawing, I want the heel to be here. The following drawing here, here, and then let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I need 6. I need to bring one more in there. All right, so that's going to change our positioning. Yeah, again. Where's my math geniuses? Help me. They said no math would be involved. It's a little math. I could get in there and measure that out. That's pretty close. If you get it that close, to see if you can try to follow that those increments, that one might be a little this way. Step back, looking at it. Yep. That looks pretty good. So I have drawing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that's measuring my heel as it goes back. So the 6 heel about there. And follow this one down. Maybe it would be maybe a little further back. Where this helps is when we have our character, and I showed you in the very beginning, characters walking through the scenes and going through. Okay. So I haven't saved this in a while. Don't want to lose all this. I'm gonna do a file save. So what I did is I brought my character, the rig character, into here, and just to save us some time, I did have that first pose set up. You guys would have to set up the first pose, and after you get the first pose, then you're going to do the second pose. So you call those the strides, or if you're using the Angry Animator one, it's called the contacts. So I will go through and make some more videos of the Angry Animator with that rat character, just so you guys have those in comparison, and I'll put those up so you guys can look at them. And I'll keep going to the next pose, but probably won't stay much past noon here. So we'll look and see what the next one. So if I go to the next pose, that's going to be frame 2. That's going to, now I'll turn my Preston Blair back on. There are a lot of turning things on and off. That's the process. So there's Preston Blair. At number 2, we got that leg bend, right? The body comes down, catches that weight we were talking about. So, and the foot's going to slide back to here. So the foot's gonna slide back, the knee's gonna slide bend, the head, the body, everything's gonna come down a little. This arm's gonna start working its way backwards. This arm's gonna work its way forward. And this back leg's gonna start to come forward also. That's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna set keyframes in there. I'll open this up so I can see everybody. in my timeline. So again, with nothing selected in there, if I come back to frame 2, click and drag. So I let go. I'm holding my mouse. I moved up, holding my mouse to here. So I got all the body parts in frame 2 there selected. And I'm going to right click on the selected blue line and insert keyframe. And that would be F6 on your keys. So put the keyframe in. Now I have to move things around just as I did the other one. So I want to get that leg bend. I want to bring everything down. So I'll show you a trick what I might want to try to do here. Now, after we get number 2 here, and this is 6, so number 2 and number 7 are going to be the same. So that would probably be the next one I would do. And in our time way, I won't have time to, to show you all here. So once you get number 2, then you can copy that keyframe and put it at frame 7 and then make the change. So I'll see if I can show you that. Let's see if I can go a little quicker here. All right, grab this foot and let's lock my guides just so I don't move them. Guides, lock. Okay, so I got the whole character, they're not locked. Moving down here. And I'm just gonna take them a little bit, selected all this upper body. I might end up getting some legs in there, but that's okay. I'm going to click. Oh, I need to lock that Preston Blair so I don't move him around. Lock that one for sure. Come back up to this. And see where I go away. Move this a little bit here. I could grab my lasso key, lasso tool. No. So let's pick the head for a second. All right, I have the Preston Blair layer. Let's go to the head layer, select that. Okay, now I have all these layers. And I will grab that one leg, but what I'm doing is just grabbing all. It's hard to see. Let's turn off the Preston Blair one for the time being. So I have all these selected. I could go back to my V key, my regular selection, hit the shift to deselect these legs for right now. I don't want to move them. I'm just trying to get the upper body. What I'm going to do is just bring it down to get that bounce feel. So I selected all those body parts at once, and I'm going to use my arrow keys, and I'm just dipping it down a little bit. So for where it started, it's dipped down. So let's look at from here to there. So it's boom, it's getting that, and I can go back in and fix those faces. But for right now, I'm going to go boom, and maybe a little bit more. So I missed it. So I can use my, instead of my lasso key, I could select everything like this. I still grab those 2 legs. So hold the shift key and then deselects those 2 legs. So I'm just moving this upper body. And I pushed it forward a little bit. So it's going down. It comes a little bit forward and down. So I have that. Now I need to bend the legs and move the legs. So I'm going to take this leg. Now I'm going to switch to my Q on the keyboard, and that is my free transform tool. So I hit the letter Q. Now I have my free transform tool. And I am going to bring this leg down a little bit, and it's a little jumpy. And what you could do, I have these guides now. So what's going on? It's snapping to the guides. And this is all these different things. So view snapping and edit snapping. I'm turning all the snapping off. So I want view, edit snapping. And I'm just going to unclick all of these so I can move elements around where I want them to be. These are good for if you're doing more precise work. We're doing a little more freeform stuff now. So I have that. Now I can sheet that leg down a little bit. And then I'm going to rotate it outward because it's going to bend. This foot, it's going to hit the ground. It's going to plant on the ground now. And it's going to slide back. The heel's going to match up here. So I'm going to move that backwards to about there. And then I'm going to take my front leg and I'm going to move it outward, the knee bent out. so I get that knee bend. So what I'm getting is this, boom. Again, I could fine tune these things in here, but for right now, I want to get it working. So that's that going there. This leg is going to be come down a little bit, and it's going to start. Oh, I grabbed the wrong way, so I stretched it. I didn't want to do that. Command Z. Rotate that forward a little bit. Come over here, deselecting, try to grab that leg, part of the leg, bring that so it's starting to come forward here. And this is where it gets a little tricky on the cutout part. So I have that. And then this foot, as it comes forward now, I may bring it up a little here. So maybe this leg can come up a little. So I'm just kind of, but whatever I do for this number 2, I'm going to copy it and use it for number 7 so I can have the similar type pose on those. So I have the back leg's starting to come forward, the front leg's hitting that, sliding back. I'm going to slide it back on these even increments. And now this front arm is going to start to come forward. So I'll bring, and I could grab all these at the same time too. Hold shift and shift. And grabbing that hand's a little harder. So let me grab the hand first. The smaller element. I could go to the timeline there and there. So now I have all 3 of them. Yeah. Now, when you grab all 3 of them, the rotation point comes to the center. So I will come here. I can take that rotation point, put it there for right now. When you're in between, it's maybe not the best way to do it, but now is this stuff in front of there? Yep, that's in front. So I have this one starting to come forward. Now this hand can be dragging back a little bit as it starts to come forward. So it's that little bit of a drag, and then it changes as it comes forward. And now this one's going to come down a little. And this hand will maybe drag up this way as it starts to come down. So I have, boom. And I could even sink the head down on the body a little bit as it comes down there, just to get that little bit of a bounce on the head. It's subtle, but so I have this boom. That's it's taking its weight. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here and create this next keyframe here where it goes up in the air. So this is going to be the passing view. So if I turn Preston Blair back on, it's backwards, but this is the highest passing view of it. Right. Yeah, that's the in between. So yeah, that is it. You guys, if you don't want to flip it around, I just had this guy set up, flipped around, so you don't need to do that. But what I'm going to do is select all those layers again. So going from the head down, so click and drag, let go, all the body elements, right click, and I'm going to insert a keyframe. So I have those. And I'll zoom out of this a little bit, see what I have. Get up a little taller. Over here. So there's a lot to keep track of. So now this is going to be up in the air, the passing position. This leg is going to be straighter. Now it's gone 2 pieces. So there's where the head was at the stride. So I want this one to be taller than that. So if I grab upper body here, I got to turn off Preston down there. Just getting confusing. So I want to bring this up taller. Maybe I'll just lift, for right now, lift the head up a little bit higher. So I have, at least I lowered it on the neck. So I'm put it kind of where it was there. And I want to lift the whole body up a little. And I'll zoom up, see what I got grabbed here. Yeah, I'll just keep all those elements selected. That's all right. And I'll move them around as I need them. So I want to go up higher than this. This is the stride head height. So on this passing view, it is going to be a little bit higher. So I'm going to take this and drag it up, just get a little bit up above that. So as I have that, turn off, I just was using my onion skin so I can kind of see that I am going higher here. Turn the onion skin off. And I'll have to change the legs, but this foot is sliding back 2 spots because this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is drawing number 4. Number 4 is telling me here. I take that foot, I'm going to slide it back, hold my shift key. That's 3, that's 4. So it would be there. And the bodies here, I could even move these guys up a little bit more. See, that would work nice. And the hips, I need to move up a little bit. Can I grab a hip? It's hidden back in there. Oh. So I can't grab it by visually seeing it. I'll make sure that I'm on the hips. I just saw it. Boom. There they are. So I clicked it on the timeline. Just cheated that up a little bit. Okay, so if I take this leg that is sliding backwards, that was the leg that was actually bent. And I'll put it there. This is this leg here. It's kind of more straight there. And this arm is coming forward. His hand's still going to be a slight bit of a drag, not much, but it is going to be kind of coming here. And maybe I will bring this one. Oh, the wrong thing. You can see it gets tricky. It takes a little bit of time in there, but this is sort of a cross between doing 3D animation and 2D animation. Bring this arm going back, and I'm going to use my arrow key to move it back. And what this does is let me see through the back of my character. So I can pick maybe I'll just pick the body part there. So I looked at my body. I'll kind of go here. And where's the torso? Hips, 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 legs, torso. So I take my torso and hit that pink body part. Now I can see through it. So what that does, because this is vector art. Now, if you had drawn yours in Photoshop, you won't be able to do this because Photoshop, it won't behave the same as vector art does. Let's see, we're getting near, yeah, just about noon now. Let's see, shoe hips, right leg upper, left leg on arm, right arm upper. So that's that arm there. You can kind of move it up a little bit. Let's move it back. Now, so this is tricky. It is behind there. This arm is going to be going back. And maybe I want to move that one even further back. Grab that arm. Uh-oh. Oh, Command Z. Grab the wrong one. Okay, where's that arm? Arm lower. Arm right low. That's that one. And this hand is going back. And let's tilt to it. Kind of come in. But so it's hidden behind the body there. So if we were drawing this, it would be hidden behind there too. So what do we have? So it goes from there to there. And did I do the other leg? The other leg I didn't do moving forward yet. So I need to get that back leg, which would be his right leg. Leg right upper. And that's going to be here. And make it move it forward a little bit. Not totally there yet. And then my leg lower. And I'm using my arrow keys. There's a lot of grabbing on in there. So I'll bring that out. Maybe drag this up here, and then there's going to be a little rotation in that. And maybe move that one up a little too high. And grab that back foot. See if I can grab that. And there we go. Arrow keys. It gets tight in there to try to grab it with your mouse, the arrow keys, and then I'm going to tilt it so it's coming through here. And turn my torso back on. So I just click that there. So now I have this, and it's hard to see what's going on here because it looks like he's just stomping his feet, but it's actually this leg is sliding back. So what I'm going to try here is to put an in-between these to see if I can get the flow. With that, I might have to go back in there and make adjustments on those different elements that are in between. They might not do it perfectly as I want, but I can get a starting point. So this was the down position. This was number 2, and this was number 4, the up position. So at number 3, I'm going to in between that down and that up position. So I'm going to drag down here, select all those keyframes in there, and then I'm going to right click and I'm going to use classic tweens. So with those all those layers of this frame 3 selected, right click and create classic tween. And you want to use classic tweens here because that way we can swap out the body parts or elements, the head thing. So classic tweens are the way we want to go with this. So if I create that, and let's see what it did. And I see floating arms and hands, and that will happen. But it's a little bit better. So we can see that the feet aren't just stomping down. There's like he's losing his draws here and stuff are going on. So I have to go in and fix some things up here. So I'm looking here to move that back a little. And you can stretch things a little too. I could stretch that a little. That foot I want to kind of keep there, right? That was 1, 2, 3, 4. So I do want it to be, click away, grab that foot, out there. And I don't want to have too much separation in my body parts. So this is the left arm that's coming forward. Okay, what did I do with those hands? I thought I set those. I didn't set them on this frame yet. So on that keyframe, they're set on these keyframes, but I need to set the hands on these keyframes. So what I need to do is select find the hands, click it here, and that is going to be, I'll do one frame, and then I can use my frame picker. Which hand do I want? I wanted this hand. So I have that. And then I'm going to go to my other frame and there. Well, I'll just click it here. And I wanted this, I have to set that to 1 in the looping. So you need to activate it here, see it in your properties window for looping, set it to 1, and then using your frame picker, you can decide what frame you want it to be. So let's close that for a moment. Then I'll set that a little in here. And this one is coming from the front, so I'll do there. So even with this, and I look at it maybe, and this, it's just something you do as you do it more. Maybe I want to bring this arm down a little more in this passing view, so the arm's maybe not quite that much forward. I'll bring it down a step, and I'll tilt it back this way a little bit. Grab that arm. Until it kind of comes through. Whoop. So you start to see it take place. So it's not happen, it still have to be done, but you got to think about it. The character's all colored. Has all these textures and things going on there. And once I get the walk cycle working, he's going to look cool. But it does take some time to step through it and to manipulate it. You get the rough, just as if we were doing maybe our rough drawings. We're sketching things out, getting them right, and then we tighten up those drawings to finalize. And that's kind of what I'm doing with this. I'm getting the things in the right area, and maybe I'll have to fine tune some things as I get going on it. But as I do this, and so now here's some weird things going on with this hand and this in between. So what I want to do with in between. So after I created those and I think it's looking pretty good there. And actually, one, two. Let me see something on that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll pick this up in recording. I'll take a break, let you guys take a break. So you got an idea. Get your rigging done. Go in and look at your head there. Look at the videos that I put up in the announcement if you need to look at the head rigging or the mouths and the eyes, how I set those up, and see that. If you have any questions, shoot me an email.